Hey Flosstube, my name is Sadie, and this is my channel where I talk about everything cross stitch. So for anyone that's new, welcome, and all y'all returning, welcome back. Today we get to chat about a surprise SAF start and finish, and I get to show you all my haul from Needlework Marketplace. It all finally came in. And then a couple of whips and a new start of a design that I collaborated with Maggie from Kitschy Whips. So I think it'll be exciting. I think this will be a fun episode. Thankfully I've still been doing some of the stuff that I've enjoyed doing, still reading that one book series. I can talk about at the end. Not so much puzzling. I finally got that out of my system with the one that I did a month ago. So mainly cross-stitching and reading. And it's been great. It's been feeling a little cooler here in Bangor. And I've been liking it because it feels really nice to try to go walk outside. But it is starting to get dark. So I know that the stitchy vibe will continue to get strong as I want to get cozier with the darkness coming in. So let us get started, and I get to show you my staff. It is the none other but Pigeon and Puddle by the Blue Flower, and here it is. Look at it. Ooh. I'm trying to think if you guys can see it well. I hope you guys can. Okay. That is so cute. I definitely used some threads from Stash to do this one. The called for colors I got were the color and cottons for the body of the pigeon, the neck of the pigeon, which is that pretty green purple color, and then the puddle. And I love how that puddle looked. I didn't fussy cut it, but I did kind of purposefully weave the threads around so it can look like ripples. And then with the rest, except for the lavender flowers, are DMC. But the lavender ones, I used the purple variegated thread by Hand by Rolanda. And it made them look so cute. Just different shades of purple in there. It looks so cute. I was showing my boyfriend as I was working on it, and he was just like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then once I got to the boots, I was like, look, he's wearing boots. And he's just like, okay, it's a silly pigeon. I like it. I was like, yes. So I finished this in 2 weeks. Because you can see the progress so fast with it. So I just ran with it. I felt it. I wanted to continue it, so I got it done. Now it's probably going to be wrapped up in my finishes. I'll figure out what in the world it'll turn out. I don't know if I'll put in a frame or if I may put it in a project bag or some other thing. We'll see. But it's done. All right. We can jump into the other couple of whips that I worked on. Then I'll go over the new start. And then the haul. So the next one I worked on is Aries, one of the Zodiac signs by Nora Corbett. I got her on this huge fabric. And, right, she's here with Sagittarius and Leo. But Aries, trying to remember if last time you saw her, mainly I worked on that bottom arm where the purple threads are. So I was working on the bottom part of her corset. She is coming together, and I'm feeling much more confident now with the positioning that I have of them, because there is still a good amount of border that is needed for Aries. So I would say she's definitely going to line up with Leo. And normally I'm much more cautious about this, but I think when I worked on her in the airport coming back to Bangor, because that had to have been a couple weeks ago, I think I left the Karen water lilies in the front pocket of my airplane seat. And the only reason I would think that's because I remember putting them there and I thought I got them out. And they are not anywhere in my bag. So thankfully with 2 of the 3, I have like somehow I still have at least threads left, so I'll be fine. But then there's one of them that I hadn't even started, and I am gonna have to figure out what to do with that. Probably order from 123 Stitch as soon as I can, because I am trying to get this one done by October. It's all right, in a couple weeks for the Queen City Stitch Retreat. So I need to get on that. That was my bad. Normally I'm better than that. All right, and then after that, I got to finally start catching up on Stitch for Pride. I was behind on that SAL with August. Like, I was still needing to work on August, and then it was already September. So finally, I was able to catch up. I'm trying to see, because you're about to see a hanging thread, so I'm just going to put this through. But I got all of August done, and then I got started on September. So I'm pretty much back on track. All right, so here they are. It looks so crazy with the colors, but I feel like that's the point of the SAL, just kind of for me, being free with the threads, and just like an educational piece, learning about each of the historical figures. So for August, I worked on the vase. So that's that one. The color to it is like a very lightly variegated sky blue and white. It's called Cloudy Skies. It's by Dinky Dyes. And then the next one that's for September is this bottom one, which is supposed to be a half of a butterfly's wing. And it is, I chose the color Mint by Pirate and Robin. And it is all coming together. All right, we're in September, so there will be 3 more pieces. I'm assuming potentially 1 horizontal and 2 square types, that they're kind of in the center. But I don't know who they'll be. It's always been a surprise. So I've liked that about this, that I'm just like open-minded, letting it happen. And that honestly has been fun learning about each of the historical figures as I stitch. So those are my 2 whips. I definitely focused a lot on Pigeon and Puddle, and that's where all my time and energy went. So I was really happy that I got to show you that. And it's one of those weird ones, right? Where like, if people find me in the future, or like they may never see Pigeon and Puddle, because right, this was just a one and done. You saw it this time, and I don't know if it'll ever come out unless I FFO it. So you guys are lucky to be able to see that project. Okay, so now for my sampler, it's going to be a little bit of story time. So I probably mentioned it back in July and August, but I definitely got some obsession with K-pop Demon Hunters. And Maggie from Kitschy Whips, we started bonding over it on Instagram, and I showed her my design pattern that I did for the Zoe sampler that I created, and I showed that one back in July. And then she was like, she's like, it'd be awesome if there was a general sampler, like, of all the girls. And she wanted, like, just saying for it to say the phrase, like, happy fans, happy Hong Moon, which is their common catchphrase. And I was like, yeah, that sounds super cool. She made up a sketch of it, and she was like, okay, she's like, if you want, you can go for it, try to design it. And I said, okay, I got it, challenge accepted. And this is what it turned out. I'll put it up here. I think it turned out great. Our goal was to, have those words. And originally we wanted in the background to be the lines of the Hong Moon that are in the movie. But then as I started filling it, because we wanted the words, and to represent each of the female characters, we wanted their norige, their little pendant symbols in the middle in some form, and then parts of the border represent each of the girls. So the yellow one would be Zoe, the pink one would be Mira, and then the top one is Rumi. And Maggie was like, that would be super cool if we can do Rumi's as her demon patterns. And I was like, yes, totally. So did that. And then I also saw it would be cool to have Derpy. So we put Derpy and we put Sussy, and I filled in that little space with the little happy kind of like envelope, the you're invited envelope that Ginu gives to Rumi. And it all came out so nice. I was like, oh my god, this looks so good. And Maggie loved it. And when we were chatting about it, we were like, yes, it'd be cool to have it like this. It would also be cool if we can make it semi-sampler style where like one's monochromatic. So I was like, okay, let me tackle that. And I fell in love with the monochromatic colors that I chose. Like, I love purple. That's my favorite color. And all those shades of purple that I put in the monochromatic one, I completely died for. So once I got all the colors as finalized as I could, I showed it to Maggie. She loved it. And since it was between us, like I gave her the PDFs because I do it through Flosscross. And you can do a PDF style, but also a pattern keeper style type of format. So gave those to her, and then we were chatting about it, and I loved the purple monochromatic one, and I said, that's the one I'm going to do. She wants to do the colorful one. I said, perfect. We can essentially troubleshoot each one because they need to be model stitched and to see if the colors work. So the one that I'll be showing you guys without further ado is the monochromatic sampler for Happy Fans. Alright, and same thing here. You always see that I've got threads. And you probably won't see some of this, some of the lettering, just because it may feel like it ghosts. Totally ghosts. So this is with the fabric, this is Prophecy, Twilight Prophecy. This is one of the gold flecked collections by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers that came from Needlework Marketplace, and I absolutely wanted every single piece from that collection because it looks so beautiful, and so they're gonna make me go bankrupt. I'll just try to be as close as I can. So right, if you can see, they dye the fabric and then put gold flecks. I got a fat quarter, so I folded it in half, but right, that's all of it. And only one side has the gold on it. But if I go in pretty close, right there in the middle, you can see that I did the Huntrix logo, and then I put happy. So I'm working top down, and I made the design with originally DMC colors, but then in true fancy lady fashion, because Maggie and I, like, we love our fancy ladies, our Mirabilia, and like I love Bella Filipina, so we just thought, okay, if we find that we wanted to use like any variegated flosses, silks, beads, like we could go for it. So I thankfully had like the day off Tuesday, and I went to my LNS, and I went like crazy. I went purple crazy. So I get to show you. So originally I put in for 552, which is like this purple. And it definitely ghosted a lot more on the fabric when I put it on. But when I went to the Crafty McGrimalkin over at Reese's, I found a Gloriana that she had. And I was like, this is perfect. And I brought the fabric, and I did a floss toss right there with her. She helped me out looking for one of the other purples. It was great. So this is the Gloriana, and it actually like stood out a bit more on the fabric, and I'm really liking the variegation that it's giving with the symbol. So I got 2 of these, and I think I only saw she has just one left of it, so I am crossing fingers that I am not going to need it, because this whole pattern is about 6,300 stitches, and half of them are this color. So I got 2. I got 2 skeins. I'm gonna see how it goes, crossing fingers, right? Whatever happens, happens. And we will see if I'm gonna need more or not. But I got that one as the base color. So I kind of thought as like the middle main color. And then from there I had two other, like 2 lighter versions of purple, 2 darker versions of purple. So from there I was gonna go to essentially 209 and 211. Right? Yep. 209, 211. Oh, and then white, and then a blanc. But I want something shiny as well. And so with the shininess, I looked at Reese's collection and I essentially got all 3 of the colors. No, I got 4 of the colors in fancy metallic threads. So just in case, I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know how I'm going to turn this into my sampler. So, right, this is supposed to be the base color as 552, which I think did a pretty good job being with the Gloriana. And then this one would have been 209. Right? Yep. And then this one was 211. And then this one was going to be for the darker purple, which I'll show you the one that I picked. Right, so what I picked, which is the one that you saw show up in the pattern, is to do 211 as a metallic thread. So I got 2 of these. Again, these were in Reese's collection. She has some bobbins of Krynic still. So I got 023, and it's a light purple. And I got 2 of these. So I should have enough because this color isn't a lot. It's not a lot of stitches compared to the 552 version. And then when it came to the darkest purple, because I wanted something really dark, I originally had 29 in, but 29 looked like a muted purple gray, and I needed something more saturated. And I think the more saturated one was 550, but it still was purple. It wasn't what I needed. So I finally looked at what other flosses Reese had, and the one that I found was a Color and Cotton Witch's Brew. So this bad boy is going to be like my dark, dark purple. So if I put it next to the Gloriana, right, it's definitely showing up darker, and that's what I needed. And then, right, when I put it next to, kind of next to the other purple, it goes with it. So I'm still, with that one, debating of whether it will be Witch's Brew or if I am going to make it glittery. Because again, this dark one is like even less stitches than the 211. So much purple. I put a post on Instagram because it looked so good when I laid out all the different purple threads. I was just like, this is so aesthetically pleasing. And I was like, I have to share with everyone. Like, I don't care if they cross stitch or not. They are going to embrace my purple fascination right now. So that is it. Oh my gosh, I'll show you guys one more time. So that way you can kind of see what it looks like now with better context. What? Right? So the middle part is the Gloriana, like the Happy's the Gloriana, and then that shiny, the shiny thread with the H in the middle is the 023 Krynic. It is a number 8 because Reese doesn't have any more of the number 4 Krynic braids. She's just stepping towards Rainbow Galleries now because my Krynic sold to Rainbow Gallery, and she's just selling whatever she had left over, and she has like a bunch of number 8s. I hadn't used number 8s. They are a bit thicker than the number 4s. So I'm only using 1 thread of it, and it's definitely plenty. It's almost giving like chunky style, which I like. I like the fact that there's going to be like good coverage on this piece. And that's something that I would say about this fabric, because I'll show you the other 3 that I got. Oh, I got all of them. Like I said, I love this line. This is a 32 count that I got, just 32 count linen, and it is feeling like it's on the verge of a 36 because it does feel a little smaller to me, which from hearing of how other people talk in Flosstube, that's a very common thing, that with hand dye fabrics, it does shrink a little bit to be a little tighter than what the original number is. I don't mind it at all. I just noticed it and I was like, okay, I'm glad that, right, I'm not trying to make this super thicker than I thought it needed to be. I was afraid that there was going to be way too many gaps, but it's the perfect amount of chunkiness for me. So that is my exciting sampler story. And I guess it's pretty opportune with September. Some people use September as Sampler September. I was thinking of doing the Parkington sampler, but I felt like my Happy Fan sampler is able to have me check it off. And oh my gosh, I realized after doing the sampler, I was like, I can't believe I designed a bird. There you go, guys. I designed a bird. I stitched a bird. Can we check it off of my imaginary bingo card that, like, I've done birds now? There you go. We can try to move forward from that. Oh my goodness. The things that I didn't think I'd be, like, fascinated with. All the different, like, common themes that people go for. And there you go. Stitched and designed a bird. All right. So that is, like, all my stitchy journey. Likely at the end, I'll talk about plans for the rest of September, because next time I'll see you guys will be either end of September or likely entering October. That's going to be so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Guys, with September, I think this coming week, I have my dad and brother coming to visit, and I'm going to put up the tree. I got a Christmas tree, but it's going to be a Halloween tree. Heck yeah. I got all black. I got black, green, orange, purple ornaments. That thing's about to go up at the end of September, so next week, so that we can enjoy it for all of October, November, and then we could change it up for a little bit of Christmas. That tree will be up for the next 4 months. I'm so excited. This is my first time having a big tree for it. I've always had a small, like, not Charlie Brown style, but just a small Christmas tree that I've done that tradition of putting up Halloween ornaments on. This time, it's the real deal. So I'm so excited. All right, we're going to move on to the haul of Needlework Marketplace. So I've got a bunch of patterns because, like last time, I was a slave to the frenzy of it. And I told myself, right, I was like, okay, we're going to hold off. We're only going to get the ones that we liked. And I feel like I did decent. You're probably going to look and be like, no, you didn't. And technically, sure. No, I didn't, but I really didn't go for things just to go for them. I went for ones that really call my name, and some of these people really stepped it up. And I'm really happy with them. And like with any of them, I hope that I get to work on them sometime. So I went through 3 different stores. I went through the Crafty Grimalkin at Reese's here in Bangor. I went through Lindy Stitches because Lindy Stitches had the fabrics for Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. Reese didn't. And then I went through Floss and Flame because they were the ones that carried the Greek mythology book by Bad Stitch. Like, Reese didn't carry it. Lindy Stitches didn't carry it. And I saw the different motifs, like the different patterns that Bad Stitch made. And I just went, why are none of the regular, like, common LNSs that have online stores, like, stocking this thing? So I had to go on Bad Stitch's website because she was able to put a list of the stores that are going to offer it. Thank God. And Floss and Flame was one. Mind you, I hadn't heard of Floss and Flame until this. So I'm like, okay, if they have Bad Stitch, and that means that they're, for me, like, finding the more new designers, the more modern designers, that's kind of what I lean towards. So I'm really going to be paying attention to their stock now, because that's really what That's really what my aesthetic is. I like the new stuff. Every once in a while, maybe something traditional, something prim will catch my eye, but I like the bold, gothic, crazy stuff. So I kind of tried to order this into the 3 stores of where I got it. The first one I'm going to go with is Floss and Flame. So from them, I got 4 projects. And without further ado, I will show you her Greek mythology book. I normally hesitate when it comes to books because I feel like in my mind, I want to find at least 3 things that I would definitely want to stitch. And if I do, then I think it's worth it. Then I'll take the whole book. And I definitely found more than 3 things. But the one that did it for me, and I would totally not be surprised if it will like unravel you, are the Fates. And the way that it got finished, like I want to finish it exactly the way that this model stitcher finished it. Because it was just amazing. Alright, we are going. I'm like going through and going, ooh, that's cute. Ooh, that's cute. There we go. Oh my god. This is it. Like, gang. Look at that! So the person like literally put them each in an individual frame and they got a red thread. And somehow they made it right where it was enough depth perception that you see it go from the one hand that creates it to the one that snips it, and then whoop. Oh no, that's the snipper. The other one's just like forming it. But oh my gosh, when I saw the way that this was finished, I said I wanted exactly just like that. And that for me was like, this was the winning pattern. So I cannot wait to be able to do that. Let me see if there are any others that I'm looking that are catching my eye. I think the other ones that I love a good anatomical heart. And so that one is this one called Persephone. And so, right, it's anatomical heart and inside is the pomegranate. So cool. So original. And then the other one, I always love me a good Medusa. So, this is her version. So, that is the Pantheon by Bad Stitch from Floss and Flame. At least they're the ones that I know that had it. Okay, and then the other one that I got, I saw this a couple times and it totally tugged at my heart. And I showed it to my boyfriend and he loved it. I need to find time to stitch it and frame it. I need to find a good frame. That's what I need to do. But it's the All My Lasts by Rebecca Murphy. And, oh, the quote that it had. It just resonated with me. And it resonated with him. And again, guys, I am not a fan of alphabets, but I will stitch this. I will stitch all these doggone words. So cute. So nice. And then, surprisingly, this one caught my attention. I think really it was a couple of the exotic birds. It had to have been like the parrot and the toucan. These are the Jewels of the Jungle pack and by Flossabilities. And I got packs 1 and 2. So this one's pack 1. And I think I liked it because I'm dying to do a cube. I don't know why, but I am dying to create a cube of cross-stitch patterns. And this looked like the perfect thing to do it for. So then this is the number 2. And I'm just, I just want to do that. I want to be able to make a cube, put them together. We will see how it goes. We'll see how it works. So those are the ones that I got from Floss and Flame. Then the next ones I got were from the Crafty Grimalkin. And I got the majority from her. If there are ones that I really liked that that were super popular and a lot of people wanted, I tried to do my best to get them from Reese, right? To support my LNS here. So first set, again guys, I wouldn't be surprised. It is the Zodiac series by the Stitch Crypt. So it's her first 3 that she's come out with. And so my first one is Pisces. Second one's Virgo. And Cancer. And all of these were done on the Gold Flecked series by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I don't plan to do them on the actual fabrics that they used. I have a feeling, depending on how the Stitch Crypt feels, depending on how she feels, I'm likely going to wait until all 12 of them come out and see if I want to do them either all on the same fabric, or if I want to do them something similar to the way I've been doing with Nora Corbett, where I stitch them all on their same fabrics according with their element, but separate this time. Not all on the same fabric like I'm doing with Nora Corbett. So those are from the Stitch Crypt. This is a new designer to me, and this is, let's see, Sa.Rita di Campagna, which this sounds more Italian, so that to me means Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid of the Bell. At least with me, with Spanish, that's how I would translate it. Could be similar, but I got Witch and Midnight. And so I originally got this for the Witch. She is super cute. She is the reason why I wanted it. And I will be honest, I got the cat for completeness sake. So we will see how this does. Let me see. It looks like it's 123 by 160. It looked small enough, but I mean, granted, if it's in a frame, it's pretty big. I'm wondering if I can do it in maybe a portfolio style, kind of like a cover, right? Front cover, back cover. That seems like a cute idea with them. But those are the 2 I got. And then, let's see, we got 2 from Sprouting Lupine. I got like a lot of some of her other designs, but these 2 were cute. This one got me the Garden of Shadows. Look at that black unicorn. The black unicorn was what I wanted. And I know that she has one with the white unicorn, and now I need that one. But the black unicorn, oh, she's so pretty. So good. And then I got her other Mycelium Metro. She got mushrooms. She's got a Medusa. And for a second, I was like, okay, where's the Metro? And the Metro is because of that bus stop with the different bus stop signs. I said, oh my gosh, that's so cool. She's so creative. I'm going to have fun with this one too. So I thought that was cool. And then I got the none other Zodiac Stitch Blueberry J. You guys have seen me working on Cherry Magpie, and again, I had to get this one. And I may do what I did similarly with Cherry Magpie, where I am stitching it on a teal blue color to be the opposite of what fabric they chose. So for this one, I'd be finding something that's more magenta pink to inverse it. I've been liking that idea. But I need to finish Cherry Magpie before I start this one. That's what I'm thinking. And then, oh my gosh, of all the things, again, y'all kill me, right? Again, in my imaginary bingo card, the one that I did not know I was ever going to do was a sampler of houses. I never wanted to do just a bunch of buildings. Again, this one I had to do. So, if y'all haven't noticed, I do have my fandoms. I like things that are inspired by certain series and movies. Certain ones. And this is based off of Stranger Things. And it is Heartstring Samplers Hopperstown. So, gang, tell me how you could resist this. Like I said, normally, no. I would not stitch a bunch of houses. But the fact that you can look closer and be like, wait. Right, like those are the quintessential buildings that are revolved around this show. I love this show. I cannot wait for that last season to come out. I will probably cry when it comes out. And I'll watch the whole thing. I'm probably wanting to watch all 3 seasons again. But I have to do this. So good. I am excited for it. And it looks huge. Let's see. It's actually not as big as I thought. It's 200 by 150. So, right, more wide than tall. And, ugh. I can't wait. I can't wait. I know that there is another cross stitch pattern up there of, I think it's both 11 or a couple of the boys riding bikes, and then the upside down, like under them, inversed with one of the Gorgon monsters. But I didn't want that one. I was just I get very picky. I get very picky with my fandoms because, yes, I love them, but I also don't want to be super obvious about them. So, like, right, I'm not going to stitch something I'm not going to stitch something that just says Beetlejuice. I want to stitch something that, if you know what the movie is, you're going to get it. And so, granted, with that one, if you didn't know about the upside down and didn't know of, like, 11 and that, then probably you wouldn't get it. So I can see that, but this is the one that got my attention. The fact that it first looks like just a bunch of houses. It looks like a fair is going on with some fireworks. And then you look closely and there are monsters and you're like, oh my god. Why are there monsters in this thing? And then if you know that it's Stranger Things, you know it's that. So that's the type of fan that I am. That if you know what it is, then we can bond. And if you don't, then it just looks like a creepy t-shirt or a creepy logo and we can stay with that. So that was what I got from Reese. And then, last but not least, are from Lindy Stitches. So one of the ones I got was Counting Petals. And it is the Patchwork Angel. And I think what got me with her was the dress. Again, not something that I normally lean towards, but I kind of liked it. It just looks cute. Got that one. And then, let's see. I'm trying to think if I got any other ones, any other patterns. I don't think I got any other patterns. The other one that I got that I really just wanted for myself, and I saw that she had it, was the Halloween game board. And it's by the Calico Confectionery. So, I saw this one stitched, and I really wanted it bad. Like, I would love to put this right out as a decorative table, but you can put glass on top, and then you can technically use it to play checkers and all that. Like, I want it to be practical and used for fun. So, of course, I have to stitch it at some point. Alright, the last things are the fabrics, and I am so excited about them. So, you saw my Twilight Prophecy, and these are the other ones. I'm just pulling them out one by one so you can see them. Let's see, we got Siren's Veil, we got Crimson Omen, and then the Seer's Vision. And I think the one, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the one that like everyone went crazy for was Crimson Omen, the red one. But here we go. here are 3. And then if we put them down, I'm kind of go from like least to most visible of the gold, but the blue one, you could barely see the gold. So this one, I'll be honest, if you think you're going to get a lot of gold on this one, you're going to be looking hard. So probably areas where I can show maybe a little bit spot there. I think maybe some spots, maybe some spots here, but not a lot. So if you wanted something that is really going to show off gold, I wouldn't do the blue one. But it's a very pretty blue. And so that is Sears or Siren's Veil. And then this one did like a decent job. This one's the Crimson Omen, the red one. Let's see. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you guys can see, but a little bit of gold. And again, these weren't, there wasn't as much gold for me, even like as I anticipated. Like it's not chock full of the gold specks. I don't know how they, like if they just flicked it, like right there, it looks like a good flick of gold. Right, I don't know if they just did it with like a toothbrush, paintbrush, or if they sprayed it. But that is Crimson Omen. And then the last one, so for me, Twilight Prophecy and this one, the Seer's Vision, it shows up the most, right? They're the darker fabrics, and they will actually show pretty good the gold that's present. So this one, let's see. So kind of around there. Let me see if I fold it up in half, if this does a better job. Okay, probably, yeah. Yeah, does better. So, right, so more gold. Yeah, this one I think especially got a lot of gold. This one's the Seer's Vision. And so, right, for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to save these for any projects that I really wanted to have a little bit of that extra oomph on. They are fat quarters, and they're all 32 count, which is kind of like what I really like to do. And it's, I think like it's big enough for if I wanted to do a Nora Corbett, or if I want to do like a decent amount of projects that would need a fat quarter. But when I created my Happy Fan sampler and I did that purple monochromatic, I immediately thought about Twilight's Prophecy and I wanted to use it. And I think it's going to turn out so beautiful. Alright, other pieces of haul. This is K-Pop Demon Hunter associated, but Dawn, she started her own scissor fob like Etsy store and calls it the Fob Factory. They are super beautiful, but she knows Maggie really well, and Maggie asked her if she would do scissor fobs associated with the K-Pop Demon Hunter characters, and she lovingly did. She did an amazing job, and I cannot wait to show you them. Again, if you're fans, go get them. So I'll show you all 3 next to each other. She did such a good job! Oh my god! They're all kind of the similar Noriega style, but each of the charms is very characteristic of Zoe. Sorry, Zoe's like the purple turtle, and the piece of corn because of her eyes, and then the little bells up top. And then Rumi got the little teddy bear because of her pants. And then this one, and I think that was like the main one, another bell, and just a bunch of cute charms. They all have the names on top as well. And then Mira's, I think Mira's like my favorite. She got her the heart that is part of the actual Noriega on Mira's. Same little style. She also gave her a little teddy bear because of her pajama. Gave her some popcorn because of all the popcorn eyes. She did so good! Oh my gosh. I was sticking Mira's on these very beautiful scissors. These I got from Lindy Stitches. They're flamingos. They're so big. Like, they're bigger than my other fobs. I think of if I do Like, I got my other ones here, right? Like, that's one that I made. And these are so big. So, it's just an excuse to buy more scissors, right? So, happy with them. Alright. I think that's all the stuff I wanted to show. For plans, definitely finishing Aries. That's probably the big one that I got. And working on Happy Fan Sampler. I had all those plans that I keep telling you, and I feel like I keep telling you, yes, I'm going to do them, yes, I'm going to do them. I will get to them. I just don't know if I'm going to push myself that hard. Right? They're going to be to finish Mothman, to finish You Got This by the Artsy Housewife. Those were the two main ones. Now I have to think of a small to do for the smalls exchange. And there are plenty of small things that like patterns that I have to work on. So I got to figure that one out. Right, I got to do that by the Queen City Stitch Retreat. And then we'll see what mischief I get myself into when you see me in October. Okay. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching what I've been stitching, what I've been creating, and what I got my hands on with the Needlework Marketplace. Very last thing was, if you wanted to briefly hear, the book series that I'm reading is the Zodiac Academy series. Y'all heard me chat about it before, how I was reaching like the bad part of the series. It's total book of 9, like 9 books total, can't talk. And I am on book 8. I am almost done. Guys, book 7 was 991 pages. I got through that thing in 2 weeks. I was like, this thing's gonna happen. I cried twice in a matter of a span of 20 pages each time. Of all the books, that's the first one that I cried. And then I cried 10 pages into number 8. I said, this is complete. This is completely messing with me emotionally. But I'm marching through, like, I'm really finishing book 8. Because, like, yes, I thought book 5 was bad. Book 7 killed me. And I'm only getting through this because I know that there's a happy ending. I know there's good stuff that happens at the end, and I'm just trudging along. It is killing me. Not physically, not real, but emotionally, I've been investing a lot. My brother brought it up. He was so funny. Which is kind of like, I thought about it, and I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense. Because I told him that whole thing of like, I am getting through this because I know at the end that things are going to be fine. And he's like, wait, did you just like pick the last book and looked at a few sentences and said, okay, now I can read the rest of the series? I said, yeah, I did. Like, I did that after I read the first 3. I read the first 3 in 10 days. Like, in 10 days? Yeah, in 10 days, I read those 3 books. So fast. And I was like, I needed to know that things were going to be okay if I'm going to get emotionally invested in this book series. He's like, but you don't watch a movie, like, you don't pick a movie and go watch the last, like, 5 minutes and then just say, oh, okay, yeah, I think this will be a good movie. I'm like, no. I've never done that with a movie, and I've never done that with the TV show, to, like, watch the end. And I told him, no, I've never done that, but I have never been this emotionally invested in an entertainment arena. I've never felt like that with a movie. Like, I can just watch it and whatever happens, happens. TV show, same thing. But a book series? He doesn't understand it because he doesn't read books. There's a level of emotional attachment. Is it logical? No. Because is it traumatizing? Yes. Like, he does not understand the attachment you get to these characters, how you're feeling for them through each page, and all the time that you put in. For me, I am in another world. I am living these experiences with them. And yeah, he doesn't get it. So I was like, I need to make sure that I'm going to get out of this alive, fine. I'm going to be bruised and scathed, but I need to be okay at the end. So I know we're going to be okay, and I'm almost there. And then I'll probably be hungover from that series for like the next couple months. So, I am making it through. I am enjoying the weather. Likely I'll take my family to one of the orchards out here where you can do apple picking, like pumpkin picking, go through a corn maze. We don't have that stuff in Florida, and I think they like it, right? It's a different change. So I'll do that next week, and I will see you guys later. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your September, and happy fall once it comes on the 21st. I'll see you guys when it's the beginning of fall. Okay, guys. Bye.